All right, strap in everyone, because today we're going deep into the world of OnlyFans modeling.
Ooh, exciting.
We've got this guide we're going to be dissecting. It's
Mhm.
called, get this, How to Make Life-Changing Money with OnlyFans.pdf.
Catchy.
Yeah, right. And it's got some pretty surprising insights.
Oh,
Yeah, it goes way beyond the typical,
yeah.
the headlines, the stereotypes. We're going to
Mhm.
get real, down and dirty about what it actually takes
Like that.
to make it on OnlyFans, to be successful, really successful. So right off the bat,
Yeah.
this guide, it kind of throws out this challenge,
Oh, yeah, total.
It's like, forget that get rich quick fantasy.
Mhm.
This is not a weekend side hustle.
Right.
This is a business.
A business, yeah.
And it actually throws out this stat that I thought was really interesting.
Okay.
Most of the people who hit that top 1%,
Wow.
the real high earners on OnlyFans, it takes them 9 to 12 months. No way.
Of solid work, dedicated work to get there.
That's that's a lot more than people think.
It's not just post a couple pics and, the money's rolling in. This is you're building something.
A whole thing.
Yeah, like a whole brand, a whole business.
Exactly.
So I'm curious, what does the guide actually say about, what those months involve? What are people actually doing?
So it actually breaks down a typical work week for a successful model,
Wow.
and it's intense. It's at least 3 full days, devoted to OnlyFans, maybe even 5 if you're really going for it.
Ooh.
Rapid growth.
5 days a week?
Yeah, it's not just about the content, making the photos and videos. There's all this other stuff,
Wow.
planning and then the filming and the editing, marketing, and then
Oh, yeah.
interacting with all your I bet.
It really is like running a business.
Wow. So we're talking, that's way more than I ever imagined, honestly.
Right.
It's it's almost like building a startup or something.
Mhm.
So are we talking startup costs too?
For sure.
Besides
Yeah.
the obvious camera stuff?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally. The guide mentions an initial investment,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be anywhere from $100 to $1,000.
Okay.
But it's mainly for equipment.
Right.
But get this.
Okay.
Some of this equipment is stuff like sensual clothing.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's considered
Hold on.
a branding investment.
Sensual clothing, is it a business expense?
Well, according to the guide,
Okay, this is a whole new world for me, I gotta say.
it's fascinating.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me more about this whole branding thing. What does the guide say
Yeah.
about standing out, Because it's a crowded market, let's be honest.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's all about finding your niche. The guide's really clear that just taking your clothes off isn't going to cut it.
Right.
You need a hook,
Yeah.
a unique angle. You got to know who you're targeting,
Have to see.
what specific audience you're going for.
Okay.
And they even use real world examples.
Oh, interesting.
Think cowboy or goth or
Ah.
even schoolgirl, themes.
Wow. So it's
Yeah.
OnlyFans, but with a marketing degree, basically?
Pretty much.
I never thought about it that way.
Right.
Wow. So it's it really is a whole other level. It's not just
No.
just posting whatever.
It's strategic.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so are there any other surprises that the guide kind of throws out there? Any other things that...
Oh yeah, ton.
Okay, what else? Give me the juice.
Okay, well it definitely tackles some of the big myths out there.
The idea that, the market is too saturated.
Oh, right.
The guide actually argues that. If you've got a strong niche, there's always room.
Interesting.
But then there are the hard truths too.
Yeah.
The things that the guide doesn't really sugarcoat.
Okay, what kind of stuff? Hit me with the hard stuff.
Okay, well, one that really jumped out at me is the risk of being discovered by people like friends, family, employers. That's a real concern for a lot of creators. And the guide really
doesn't shy away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's
heavy stuff.
It's heavy stuff. It makes you realize this isn't just about
right,
posting a few pics. It's
a whole social implications, personal implications.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And that actually brings us to another key point in the guide.
Okay.
Which is the importance of setting boundaries. Oh, right.
And avoiding burnout.
Right. So this is where the self-care part of the job comes in, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. The guide really warns against constantly trying to be more extreme,
Right.
Pushing those boundaries further and further.
Yeah.
It stresses that, finding your niche and building a sustainable approach, both for like your content and your own mental well-being is like key.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider like how much time and energy this whole thing seems to demand.
Totally.
So I'm also curious, what does the guide say about like the financial side of things?
Yeah.
Beyond those initial costs.
Yeah.
Is it all just about like monthly subscriptions, or is there more to it?
It's actually, the guide really emphasizes that like the successful creators, they diversify.
Oh, interesting.
Their income streams.
Okay.
It's not just about subscriptions. There's like multiple money systems at play.
Okay, I am all ears. Tell me about these money systems.
All right. Well, there are things like custom content creation.
Okay.
Where fans will pay extra for like personalized photos or videos.
Oh, interesting.
Then there's the possibility of selling merchandise, especially if you've got a strong brand identity.
Wait, like selling T-shirts with your logo on them, you mean?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It really is like building a mini empire.
Yeah.
And get this, the guide even talks about leveraging your audience to get sponsorships and free products from companies.
Oh, companies will send you free stuff just for being on OnlyFans.
Well, it's not just for being on OnlyFans.
Right.
It's about building that dedicated audience that companies want to like tap into.
Right.
The guide details how models can actually get paid to, feature products in their content.
Wow. So we're talking like a whole other level of like strategy here.
Yeah. Totally.
Right.
It's fascinating, right?
Yeah. But I'm still kind of stuck on that 9 to 12 month timeline to reach the top. Like, it makes you wonder what keeps creators going during those initial months when, maybe the big money's not rolling in yet.
That's a great question. I mean, the guide focuses heavily on the practical side of things.
Sure.
But it does make you wonder, like, what's the motivation? Like,
what drives people to do this? Is it like the allure of future wealth? Is it creative freedom? Or is it like a desire for a certain type of connection?
It's probably a mix of all those things.
Yeah.
The guide doesn't really explore those motivations explicitly.
Sure.
But it does make you think about the psychology of it all.
Totally. Yeah, there's definitely like a deeper dive to be had there. But for now, let's get back to those hard truths you mentioned.
Okay. You said the risk of like people in your personal life finding out, that was a big one. What else does the guide highlight? Like what other?
Well, another one is content theft.
Oh,
people stealing your photos and videos, potentially profiting from your work. Like,
oh gosh,
it's a harsh reality, and the guide really addresses it head on.
That's disheartening, but I guess like if you're already worried about friends and family finding out, is content theft really that different? You know what I mean? Like, is it?
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
But the guide argues that like both issues, while related, they require different approaches.
Okay.
Like, with someone, finding out it's about damage control, potentially having those tough conversations.
Sure.
Content theft, on the other hand, often involves legal action, knowing your rights as a creator.
Right.
It's about protecting
your brand and your income.
Makes sense, yeah. So it's it really highlights that this isn't all like glitz and glamour.
Right.
It's a business with real like risks and challenges.
Absolutely. And the guide emphasizes that throughout. Like it's about informed decision making.
Right. Okay. So we've got the time commitment, the financial investment, the risks. What about the actual day-to-day, like being an OnlyFans creator? What does the guide say?
Well, it gets into like the specifics of choosing filming locations, setting up like the right lighting and angles, even talks about like the importance of cleaning your background.
Wait, what? Hold on. They actually mentioned like cleaning your room.
Well, yeah.
I'm starting to feel like this is more of a how-to adult manual.
Well, it's part of, creating a polished professional image.
Makes sense. Yeah. So it's not enough to just like have a great body or whatever. You have to be a photographer, a marketer, a brand manager.
Yeah.
A housekeeper, apparently.
It's a multifaceted role.
Oh,
wow. But the guide also stresses that you don't have to be perfect at everything right away.
Right.
It's about learning as you go.
Okay.
Experimenting and figuring out what works best for you and your brand.
I like that approach. Feels less intimidating.
Yeah.
And more like, like an invitation to just kind of experiment and find your own style.
Exactly.
But speaking of style, we talked about like how important it is to find your niche. How does the guide like actually recommend people go about doing that? Like, how do you...
Well, it suggests starting with your existing strengths and interests. Like, what are you passionate about? What are you good at? And even more importantly, like, what kind of audience do you want to attract? You know, like, who do you want to be connecting with?
So it's about aligning like your passions with your business goals.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And it's not just about like what you enjoy, it's also about recognizing what makes you unique. Like what sets you apart from all the other creators out there.
Yeah, you know, that actually makes me think about something else the guide touched on. Which is the importance of body confidence.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Huge. Like, the guide really emphasizes that. Like, what might be considered a flaw by some could be appealing to others.
It's about owning your individuality.
Yes, exactly. And the guide even talks about how, like, our bodies change over time. You know, it's not just about...
It's a whole other...
dimension to this. It's like... It's not just about navigating, like the digital world. It's also about navigating, like the reality of our own bodies and how we present them online. That's deep.
That is deep.
Yeah. And speaking of deep, the guide also dives into some pretty technical aspects. It does like the different account types and how to use them strategically. It talks about like free accounts, subscription accounts, even how to like link them together.
Yeah. It's
okay. Break that down for me because I'm all for strategy, but sometimes like those technical details can get a little overwhelming.
Okay, think of it this way.
Okay,
the guide suggests using free accounts like as a movie trailer.
Okay,
so you give potential fans like a little taste of what you offer to like entice them to subscribe. For the full experience.
That makes sense. It's all about like building anticipation.
Yes.
Creating a sense of...
the exclusivity.
Exclusivity,
yes, I see. Okay.
And the guide provides like step-by-step instructions for linking your accounts. So it's easy for creators to like implement this strategy.
Makes sense. It really seems like this guide is trying to like equip aspiring creators with like all the tools they need to succeed, which is cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But with all this talk about like strategy and monetization, it's easy to like lose sight of the human element, I guess. Like, what does the guide say about like actually interacting with fans?
Well, that's a huge part of it. Like it emphasizes the importance of making fans feel valued. It's not just about posting content. It's about engaging, you know, responding to comments, sending personalized messages. Like,
so it's about building relationships.
Totally.
Fostering a sense of community.
Exactly.
Right? And the guide actually highlights an interesting point.
Okay.
It suggests sending a welcome message to new subscribers as soon as they join.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Like a personal touch.
Yeah, to make them feel like special and appreciated.
That makes sense. It's all about those like little touches that make people feel seen and appreciated.
Exactly.
Right.
And that connection is really what can like make or break a creator's success.
Wow. Okay. So it's I mean, we've laid a lot of groundwork here, right? We've got the time commitment, the financial investment, the importance of branding, that whole like delicate balance of boundaries and self-care. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
But this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much more to explore.
So much more to this.
So stay tuned because next we're going to be diving even deeper into the world of OnlyFans. We're going to be exploring like strategies for attracting fans, navigating the technical side of the platform, understanding all those multiple money systems that can lead to like real financial success.
It's going to get juicy.
yes. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. You know, last time we talked about how this guide really kind of throws a reality check at you.
Yeah.
It's like OnlyFans is a business, you know.
Right.
Not a quick cash grab.
Exactly.
But beyond like just the practicalities, you know.
Yeah.
There's some like deeper aspects the guide touches on.
Totally.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for sure. And we talked about like that risk of people in your personal life finding out, which is
heavy stuff.
It is heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Like what other
hard truths?
Yeah, what other hard truths does the guide address?
Well, one that really stands out is content theft.
Right.
It's a serious issue. Like people stealing your photos and videos, potentially profiting from your work.
Yeah.
And the guide doesn't shy away from like how frustrating and damaging that can be.
It makes sense that they would cover that.
Yeah.
But I guess like if someone is already concerned about being discovered by like someone they know, is content theft really?
It's a good question.
Yeah. Is it really that different of a worry?
It is. It is. The guide acknowledges that both situations like involve unwanted exposure, but it emphasizes that they need to be handled differently.
Oh, okay.
You know, like being discovered by someone you know might require like personal damage control.
Right.
Maybe some difficult conversation.
Sure.
Content theft, on the other hand, often involves legal action.
Okay.
Understanding your rights as a creator.
Right. So it's two sides of the same coin, but
pretty much.
Very different strategies for dealing with them.
Yeah.
It really emphasizes that this isn't just a fun carefree side hustle.
Right.
You know,
it's a business.
There's like real legal and ethical considerations involved.
Yeah, and the guide goes beyond just the legal aspects to address like the psychological impact of putting yourself out there. Like it talks about the potential for stress.
Right.
Like constant awareness of your appearance.
Right.
Even the risk of like developing body image issues.
That makes sense. I mean, it's one thing to like post selfies for your friends.
Right.
But when your body is essentially your business.
Yeah.
The pressure must be immense.
Huge. And that's where the guide's emphasis on like body confidence really comes into play.
Yeah.
You know, it reminds us that what might be seen as a flaw by some.
Right.
Could be exactly what attracts others.
Right.
It encourages creators to like embrace their individuality, recognize that beauty is subjective.
I love that message.
Yeah.
It's a great reminder for
everyone.
Yeah, everyone, not just OnlyFans creators.
For sure.
But back to the guide, like does it offer any practical advice for like dealing with those psychological pressures?
It encourages creators to like develop coping mechanisms for negativity and criticism.
Yeah, right.
It emphasizes the importance of like building a strong support system.
Okay.
People you can talk to who understand the challenges of this work.
It's almost like you need a whole team.
You do.
Not just like photographers and editors, but like therapists and life coaches too.
Seriously, it's definitely not a solo endeavor.
Wow.
And the guide also points out like the importance of having a life outside of OnlyFans, you know, hobbies, interests, relationships that ground you and remind you of your worth.
Makes sense.
Beyond the platform.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in like the online world.
Yeah.
And lose sight of those like real life connections.
Totally.
But let's be real, a lot of people are probably drawn to this for the potential financial rewards.
You're right, and the guide doesn't shy away from that aspect.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
Okay.
It actually encourages creators to think long term.
Oh, wow.
You know, it acknowledges that this might not be like a lifelong career path for most people.
Sure.
And it suggests like capitalizing on your earning potential sooner rather than later.
So it's about being strategic, having a plan.
Exactly.
And understanding that your body and therefore your brand might evolve over time.
Totally. And the guide even suggests like considering other career paths or income streams.
Oh, interesting.
That you can transition to as your OnlyFans journey evolves.
Right. So being proactive, planning for the future.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got the long-term view, the importance of self-care, support systems.
Yeah.
What about the actual like
Okay.
Nuts and bolts.
The nitty-gritty.
Yeah, the nitty-gritty of running a page. Like, where do aspiring creators even begin?
That's where the guide gets really practical. Like, it walks you through the initial setup from choosing a username, profile picture, to setting your subscription price.
Okay.
It even provides, like, tips for crafting a compelling, like, about me section.
So it's like a blueprint for building your online presence.
It's like OnlyFans for dummies.
Right.
In the best way possible. You know?
I think
it breaks down those, like, seemingly daunting first steps into, like, manageable chunks.
Okay.
And it emphasizes the importance of, like, being upfront about the type of content you offer.
Sure.
Managing expectations.
Yeah.
Being transparent with your audience.
Transparency builds trust, right?
Exact.
And trust is key.
Huge.
In any relationship, especially when money's involved.
Especially that, yeah. And then the guide delves into, like, the technical side.
Oh, right.
Navigating the platform's features, understanding the different account types.
Right.
Using them strategically.
Yeah.
It talks about free accounts, subscription accounts, even how to, like,
link them
together. Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm all for strategy, but I'll admit I sometimes get a little lost in the technical stuff. So
totally.
Can you break down those different account types?
Yeah.
In a simple way?
Okay. So think of free accounts.
Okay.
As your teaser trailer.
Okay.
Giving potential fans a sneak peek of what you offer.
I like it.
Then the subscription accounts are the main event.
Okay.
That's where the real magic happens.
Got it.
And that's where you can start, generating that recurring income.
So it's like a tiered system with, like, different levels of access and content.
Precisely. And the guide actually provides step-by-step instructions for linking your accounts.
Okay.
So you can, like, seamlessly guide viewers from the free content to the paid subscriptions.
It's all starting to, like, click into place.
Good, yeah.
I'm still curious about, like, the content itself. Like, does the guide offer any tips on what kind of photos and videos?
It gets into the nitty-gritty details of everything.
Okay.
From lighting and angles to choosing the right outfits and backgrounds.
Okay.
But beyond just the technical aspects, it emphasizes the importance of, like, authenticity, finding your own unique style.
So it's not just about, like, copying what other creators are doing.
Right.
It's about showcasing.
It's about you.
Your own personality and passions.
Exactly. It's about creating content that you're genuinely excited about.
Right.
And that excitement will translate to your audience.
It's all about that energy. Right.
Totally. But speaking of energy, we've talked about the risk of burnout.
Right, right.
How does the guide suggest creators, like, maintain their stamina, avoid getting overwhelmed?
Okay.
One key strategy is batch creating content.
Batch creating, okay.
Instead of, like, trying to film and edit every day.
Right.
The guide recommends setting aside, like, dedicated blocks of time to create a large amount of content at once.
I see.
Then you can schedule those posts to release gradually over time.
That sounds so much more manageable.
Right.
It takes the pressure off, like having to constantly come up with new ideas. And it keeps your content, like, fresh
for your fans.
For your fans.
Yeah, it's about working smarter, not harder.
I like that.
And the guide even provides, like, specific tips for using OnlyFans scheduling feature.
Right.
To, like, automate your content releases.
It's like having your own personal content manager.
Really?
But with all this talk about, like, strategy and scheduling, it's easy to forget, like, the human element again.
The human element,
What does the guide say about, like, actually interacting with fans?
It emphasizes the importance of making fans feel valued.
Right.
It's not just about posting content. It's about engaging, responding to comments, sending personalized messages, like.
So building relationships, fostering a sense of community.
Exactly. And the guide actually highlights an interesting point.
Okay.
It suggests sending a welcome message to new subscribers.
Oh, right.
As soon as they join.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, to make them feel like special and appreciated.
It's all about those personal touches.
Yeah.
Right. Creating a connection that goes beyond.
Exactly. And that connection is really what can make or break a creator's success.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So we've we've laid a lot of groundwork here. We've got the time commitment, the financial investment, the importance of branding, that whole delicate balance of boundaries and self-care.
It's a lot.
It is a lot, but this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, this is just the beginning.
There's so much more to explore.
So much more.
So stay tuned, because next, we're going to be diving even deeper into the world of OnlyFans.
It's deeper.
We're going to be exploring strategies for attracting fans, navigating the technical side of the platform, and understanding those multiple money systems that can lead to real financial success.
It's going to get juicy.
It's going to get juicy. Don't go anywhere. You know, through all this, I'm realizing we haven't even touched on the actual platform itself.
Right.
The technical side of OnlyFans.
The nuts and bolts.
Yeah, like, does this guide actually get into, like...
It does. Yeah, like, it gets into the nitty-gritty of setting up your profile. Like, picking your subscription price. And even, like, understanding the different account types and how to link them strategically.
Okay.
It's like a mini OnlyFans boot camp, all in this guide.
Wow. That's great. Especially for people who... like, might be kind of intimidated by the technical side.
Oh, yeah, it can be overwhelming.
We can be, yeah. So, like, what are some of the key takeaways about, like, using the platform effectively?
One of the most important things the guide emphasizes is, like, being upfront and transparent with your audience.
Right.
It stresses the importance of, like, crafting a clear and concise about me section that accurately describes the type of content you offer and the niche you serve.
So it's like setting expectations.
Yes.
Right from the start.
Totally.
Avoiding any surprises.
No surprises.
Down the line.
Exactly. It's about managing those expectations and being honest at what you will and won't do.
Right. So no, like vague promises or misleading descriptions. Just
clear.
Straightforward.
Straightforward communication.
Yeah. Honesty is always the best policy.
Always.
Especially when you're, building a relationship.
Especially then.
With your audience. And speaking of loyalty, the guide also dives into the different ways to, like, foster that connection.
Right.
Right. And we talked about, like, personalized messages and building a sense of community. What other...
Well, one that really stood out to me was the power of live streams.
Live streams. Okay.
The guide emphasizes that. Like, live streams are a fantastic way to, like, interact with your fans in real time.
Okay.
Answer their questions. Give them a glimpse into your personality.
Right.
Beyond, like, the curated content.
It's like creating, like, a virtual VIP experience.
It is.
Right? Making your fans feel like they have, like, exclusive access to you and your world.
And the guide provides, like, tips on how to make your live streams, like, super engaging and interactive.
Okay.
Like, choosing topics that resonate with your audience.
Right.
Using polls and Q&A sessions to keep the conversation flowing.
It's like hosting your own little talk show, but like with a decidedly more intimate vibe.
Totally.
I can see how that would be, like, a powerful way to really build those connections.
And the guide doesn't just focus on the connection building aspects of live streams.
It also highlights, like, their potential for generating income.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me, how do you monetize live streams on OnlyFans?
One way is through tips.
Tips?
Yeah.
Like straight up donations from fans?
Pretty much.
I had no idea that was even...
It's more common than you might think.
Oh, wow.
Like, the guide explains that tips are a way for fans to, like, show appreciation for creators, like, above and beyond the subscription fee.
Okay.
And it emphasizes that there's, like, no shame in accepting tips gracefully. It's simply, like, a recognition of the value you're providing.
Okay, so no need to be shy about it.
No, not at all.
If fans want to, like, show their love with a little extra cash, why not?
Exactly. But the guide also cautions against, like, constantly asking for tips.
Right.
Because it can make fans feel... Pressured.
Or, like, their subscriptions aren't enough.
Right, like they're not doing enough.
It's about finding that balance between being open to generosity and not seeming like greedy or demanding.
It's a delicate dance.
It is, for sure.
But it makes sense. You want to, like, cultivate a relationship of mutual respect and appreciation with your fans.
And the guide suggests that, like, the best way to encourage tips is to, like, consistently deliver high quality content.
Right, the stuff they actually want.
Yeah, that your fans genuinely enjoy.
Okay.
It's about exceeding their expectations and making them feel like their support is truly valued.
It's like any other service-based business.
It is.
Right. If you provide exceptional value, people are more likely to...
You're gonna tip generously.
But let's be real, tips can be unpredictable.
They can be. You never know.
You never know when someone's feeling extra generous.
Totally.
What might inspire them to, like, open their wallets.
And that's where those other money systems come into play.
Okay, so you've piqued my interest. Tell me more about these other money-making avenues.
Well, one of the most intriguing ones is custom content creation.
Custom content?
Yeah.
What does that involve?
It's essentially creating personalized content for individual fans.
Okay.
Often at, like, a premium price.
Okay.
So this could be anything from like custom photos and videos to like written messages.
Okay.
All tailored to their specific requests.
So it's like fulfilling fantasies?
In a way, yeah.
Wow.
It's about providing like an exclusive experience for fans who are like willing to pay extra for that personal touch.
I see.
And the guide emphasizes like the importance of pricing these custom requests appropriately. Like, don't undersell yourself.
I love that advice. Know your worth.
Exactly. But what if a fan like requests something that you're not comfortable with?
That's a good point.
Like the guide addresses that.
Okay.
Like it emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries.
Yeah.
And communicating those boundaries clearly.
Right.
Like if a request crosses a line, it's perfectly acceptable to decline.
Okay.
It's your business.
Right.
You have the right to choose what you create and who you create it for.
It's about staying true to yourself.
Totally.
And your values, which is...
It's empowering.
Yeah, it's empowering.
Yeah.
But I can see how, like, navigating
tricky?
Those requests could get tricky.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to offend a fan who's potentially offering you...
Good money.
Good money.
But you also...
Yeah, but you also don't want to... Compromise your...
Integrity.
Yeah.
And the guide suggests, like, having clear guidelines in place from the start to, like, minimize those awkward situations.
Okay, and just be professional and courteous.
Always.
Even when you're declining a request.
Absolutely.
Okay, so custom content creation is one avenue.
One avenue.
What other money systems does the guide...
Another one that's gaining traction is e-commerce.
E-commerce.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is where my entrepreneurial brain gets fired up. Tell me more about this whole merchandise thing.
It could be anything from like T-shirts and hoodies featuring your logo to like more niche items related to like your brand theme.
Okay.
The possibilities are endless.
So, like, if you have a goth theme, you might sell black lipstick and chokers.
Totally.
Or, like, a cowboy theme. You could sell, like, cowboy hats and boots.
You got it.
This is making my head spin with possibility.
Right.
It really does seem like you can build a whole empire around your OnlyFans presence.
You can.
And it makes that 9 to 12 month timeline to reach the top seem less daunting.
Yeah.
When you realize there are so many different ways to, like, generate income.
Absolutely. And don't forget about the sponsorships and free product deals we talked about.
Right. The guide mentioned how like creators can leverage their audience to get companies to send them free stuff, but it's not just about getting free stuff.
It's not just about the free stuff.
Right.
It's about turning those freebies into opportunities.
Okay.
The guide explains how creators can partner with brands to like promote products to their fan base.
Okay.
Earn commissions on sales through like affiliate links.
Okay, so it's like building a mini marketing agency
totally.
Within your OnlyFans business.
Pretty much.
Okay, now I'm really seeing like the strategic side.
It's a whole business.
Yeah, it's not just about posting pretty pictures. It's about building a brand, understanding your market, creating multiple streams of income.
And the guide emphasizes that. Like the more diverse your income streams, the more stable and sustainable your business will be.
Okay, it's like having a financial safety net.
Safety net, totally.
It takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
And allows you to focus on like what you do best. creating amazing content, connecting with your fans.
Exactly. And the guide encourages creators to approach their OnlyFans page with the same level of like professionalism and strategic thinking that they would apply to any other.
Right. Like a real business.
A real business venture. Exactly.
It's all starting to make sense. But with all this talk about like business and strategy, I'm curious, does the guide like address the ethical side of things at all? Like,
it does.
Are there any gray areas or potential pitfalls?
Yeah, it's a crucial question. And the guide does touch on some of the ethical considerations. It emphasizes the importance of like being transparent with your audience, setting clear boundaries, and avoiding exploitation.
So it's about operating with integrity.
Yes.
Both in terms of how you treat your fans and how you present yourself online.
And it's about recognizing that even in like a digital space, there are real-world consequences to your actions.
That's true.
The guide encourages creators to like think carefully about the potential impact of their content, and to prioritize their own well-being above all else.
It's a reminder that this is more than just a job. It's like a lifestyle.
That's a whole thing.
It really is, and it requires careful consideration, a strong moral compass.
It's about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Between pursuing financial success and staying true to your values.
Right. Wow. It's been an eye-opening journey, I gotta say.
It has.
Exploring the depths of the OnlyFans world.
It's fascinating.
It really is. We've uncovered the business strategies, the psychological insights, the technical know-how.
The human element.
And the surprising depth of human connection that thrives within this, like, often misunderstood industry.
For sure.
And it all boils down to this. OnlyFans, at its core, it's about the power of human connection.
It is.
Even in a digital space.
That's right.
It's about finding your tribe, sharing your passions, and building a business on your own terms.
On your own terms.
And so, to our listeners, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning,
keep learning,
and keep pushing those boundaries of knowledge until our next deep dive.